say that for the camera.
Yeah, we're non-violent. We're
I don't want you guys to.
Buzzwords is putting
But
that.
the thing is, I'm just trying to
You know what? Let's
give
get
you
that,
my
let's get that,
message.
let's get
You know what I mean?
Can you get out of
Stay in the scriptures. Stay in
Can
the
you give him?
scriptures.
Can you give him his space, please? Can you give him his space, please?
Sorry.
Good questions, though.
I'm not
That's
trying
right.
to disrespect you. No, what is the mark of the beast? I know there's like this.
Bring out whatever you got. Bring out.
Right, so this is 2 Thessalonians,
Look, my
chapter 2.
father is a Jehovah's Witness, yeah?
And
he's a
verse
very
3
strict
says,
religious
let no man
person.
deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come, except there be a falling away first,
Yep.
and that man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition. So the son of perdition, who do you think the son of perdition is, man? Who opposeth and exalteth himself above all that is God,
You know?
or that is worshipped, so that he is as God. So that he is as God, sitteth in the temple of God, showing himself that he is God. So this is the man. Who's the man that tells you, who has told you how the earth was created?
Right.
Who's the man who talks about the Big Bang theory, the theory of evolution, right? Who's the man that creates frankenfoods, man? What do you call it? Genetically modified organisms, man. Who's that man that does that? Who's the man that pollutes the whole earth, the sea, the air, the ground?
The rich people.
Doesn't even tilt. That's not the rich people, man.
The people that
Because
run
the scripture
planet.
says what? Job 9 and 24.
That's right. Beautiful.
But the white
I
people.
get that now.
That's what you say. The white
This
people
is
is
Job
the
9.
bad people.
The
It's
scripture
all,
says.
listen.
Job 9
listen
and
to the
24.
scriptures, man.
Listen to this. Listen.
people
The
that run
earth
this
is given
planet
into
is
the hand of
Jewish.
the wicked.
Yeah,
They're not
The
all-
earth is given into the hand of the wicked.
Somebody get Malachi.
He covereth the face of the judges. Thereof, if not, where and who is he?
Right.
So
where-
are you telling me that people like us are running the earth?
No,
So who is that?
the Jewish people.
No. The
There's
Jewish, okay, the
150
Jewish,
people
we can go with the
that
Jewish people.
no,
Jewish people,
You
yeah.
got the Rothschilds, yeah. You got all the other ones, yeah, that run the earth. And,
So do you
and
think the
they're
Rothschilds are
one-
actually Jews?
Yes, sir. Well, no. I don't know. They
You know
call
that.
He has to
Jewish.
admit because he's
You
a
know
Mason.
they're not.
He
You
knows,
just
he
admitted
knows.
it.
No, but they're
You
white.
just admitted it.
They're
They're white,
white.
right?
But they're white, but they're not Polish.
Doesn't matter.
They're-
It doesn't
they're-
matter, man.
I'm just saying,
The
sir.
scripture says the earth
They're
is given
called
into
Jews.
the
They're
hands of
called
the
Jews.
wicked.
Right now, they're
The
called
wicked
Jews.
is the Edomites, man. And the head of the Edomites, the Amalekites, man.
Yep.
They're of the same ilk. So those are the
no
people
idea
that
what you
those
said.
are the wicked of the earth, man. And they prove it
Explain
with their
one thing.
actions.
You call
Romans 9.
what they called?
9:30.
Amalekites.
Amalekites, man. Amalek.
And what they are?
They are the fake. They are the people who call themselves. Profess
But
themselves
where
to
they
be
come
Jews.
from?
Basically,
Where is
they're the head tribe of your
origin?
nation.
They come
Esau.
from Esau, they're from the nation of Edom.
But
They're
where's the
Edomites.
place? Where's the place?
Land of Edom. So you need to get into history,
South of
my man.
Judah. It's south of
I'm
Judah. Well, he
learning
knows. He
from-
knows. He's acting
No,
like
no,
he don't
sir,
know.
no,
Just
no,
bring
no,
out
I'm
some
not
precepts, man.
disrespecting. I'm just saying,
Doesn't matter
which
where they-
which
doesn't matter
part of the
where-
world
Yeah,
is
bring
that?
out the
Where they're
precepts,
from
man.
now.
Bring out the
Which part of
precepts.
the world?
It doesn't matter where they were from. They're everywhere now.
They're scattered abroad.
Oh, no, but no. Because that's
Like
what
all
I'm
nations.
talking
And he
about.
probably knows a lot of the questions he's asking as well. So
I'm just saying
bring out the
where they come
precepts.
from originally. Like where you see them as originating.
Really bring that out.
Where they originated.
I'm just listening to your spirit.
Guys, please, just tell me where they originated.
Revelations
What you
29,
think
that's
they
actually speaking
originated?
about.
Do you know about what we think is what the Bible says?
Okay, what's the
Yeah,
Bible
yeah,
say?
Oh, you know you can get it. You can get it. It's too
Where they originated?
They come from
And you can also get Revelation.
No, but
says
which
from
part of
Edom.
the world they originated?
Edom.
South of Judah. That's where the Edomites originate. Mount Seir. We can even get into that. Let's go into Job 30. If any of you got Job 30.
That's what the
Right, this is the book of Revelation,
That's what the Jews
chapter 2, verse 9.
And you said the black
It says,
people
I know thy
originated
works
there.
and tribulation
So where's the land
and
of Judah?
poverty, but thou art rich. And I know
So he knows our what? Can you read that
Sir,
I
again?
know thy works
Sir,
and
where is the
tribulation
land
and
of
poverty.
Judah?
He knows our works and our tribulation. We're all up in the ghettos, you so-called Negroes, Hispanics and Indianos, all up in the ghettos.
Sir,
But
where is the
thou art
land of
rich.
Judah?
And I know the blasphemy of them which say they are Jews and are not.
So there's someone going around calling themselves Jews, but they're not, and they worship in synagogues.
Where they come from? Where's the land
Of
of
the
Judah?
synagogue of Satan.
Please,
Who
point out.
dwells in synagogues today? Them Edomites calling themselves Jews. Go to
Yes,
Stamford Hill. Go to Stamford Hill.
I
Them
know,
gutter
sir.
rats.
But where the Judah? You said the land of Judah. Where's the land of Judah? Please, if you look for the land, you Sir,
You're the Mason.
I'm asking you this.
He knows, he
You're
knows.
You
preaching.
should know this.
Where the land of Judah is?
Look it up.
Sir, please.
Any more
Where the
scriptures?
land
Like
of
if you're
Judah is?
Job 30.
reasonable,
Get me Job
Sir,
30.
where the land of Judah is?
So like if you're a reasonable Mason, you should know half of what we're
I
saying.
don't give a fuck about masonry.
Yeah, but you are one.
That's the honest truth. I went there because I thought I'm gonna get some money.
This is John
And it's
30
a
and
bullshit fucking
But now
organization.
they that are younger
Lots
than
of
mine,
reading,
please.
lots
having
of
derision.
So who's younger than us?
read,
Esau
read.
is younger than us because
Yeah.
Esau is a baby on this earth.
Yeah.
Well before him.
Where is the land of Judah, guys?
Whose fathers I would have disdained to have set with the dogs of my flock.
So even Job saying you can't even trust these Edomites with your dogs. He said nasty, man.
Sir,
Yea,
where's the land of Judah?
whereto might the strength of their hands profit me, in whom old age has perished.
Because they were slaves. That's why it said in Job 9:24, he
Where
covered the
is
face of the
land
judges.
Judah, sir?
Because prior to that, we were ruling,
Where
and
is-
Esau,
yes,
you
you
were in
were the
slavery.
kings.
Even in Poland, you got
Sir, you were the
you got
kings.
our images
But
all over
where's the
in
land of
Poland, Czech
Judah?
Republic, all over Europe.
Please
and you
tell
know
me,
it.
where's
You've
the
got
land of
In
images.
Judah?
Russia too, in Russia.
For want
Russia?
of famine they were
Russia is
solitary,
the land of Judah?
fleeing into the wilderness in former time,
Then we all fought.
desolate and waste.
Because you
So
cannot
this is
enter
when these
the land.
Edomites were in the caves,
That land
eating
is
dead
locked
mice
down.
out of their grandmother's skulls.
Russia, you know that.
You know?
You know. Russia is a
That's the
lockdown
truth, man.
place.
who cut up
None of
mallows
us
by
will
the
enter
bushes
that.
and
You
juniper
all know
roots for
that.
their meat.
So they were cutting up juniper
They hate
roots and
Jews,
mallows by
they
the
hate
bushes.
blacks,
They were pushed
they
out.
hate
King George, they pushed them
Muslims.
out.
Excuse me.
They-
excuse
They
me,
were pushed
excuse me.
out of society.
Sorry.
Verse,
They were disgusting.
verse 5, they were driven out from among men.
So they were
Asian,
driven
yeah.
out from among men. So you know the whole
When it
table
comes-
manners. You know when you eat with knife and fork and all them other things and the, the little cloth. That's us. We had to clean your ass up.
And we educate this.
And
If
we
I could quickly
educate
say, there's a book by one of them Amalekites, man, called the 13th Tribe.
all the
Arthur
posts.
Koestler.
And he details
Nice.
the fact, and the reason why it's called the 13th tribe, because he's fully aware that they are not of the kin of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Man.
Go on.
He's fully aware of that, and he goes in about how the lack of hygiene and how they were living.
Yeah.
Guys,
They
I'm
used
just
to
telling
wear
you one thing.
Just as an example, they wear
I'm
clothes till it fell off of them.
86.5
Imagine that
Russian
you're wearing
guy, yeah?
your garment
from my
without washing
genetic,
it.
yeah?
That long
Russia
that it
is
falls
no
away.
go
Yeah, and they still do the same thing today. They're disgusting.
Sir, no goes
They're
on.
disgusting. You know what? Before that prayer, they were
Any people
before they got
apart from
converted
Russia.
by King Hulan, he had to choose a religion because
Yeah. Taking bullying.
because the Mongolians, which a lot of them Mongolians, they were Islamic. So the Islamics were putting pressure on him, and the Christians on the other side were putting pressure on him. So he had to choose between a religion, and he thought, well, who's the cleanest people of the earth?
Yeah.
Jews. So let's call something called Judaism.
Right.
And that's why you get the whole term Judaism.
Because Judaism isn't in the scriptures, man.
Could be.
It's not in the
Because we know it
scriptures.
is.
No, I'm listening to you. It could
It's
be.
a
You know what I mean?
fact.
I'm learning it. I'm learning this.
And he was disgusting because Salaka, they were known as, prior to that, they were known as phallic worshippers.
Wow.
You see this little thing here?
Wow.
This
Yeah.
looks like a phallic. This is what they were worshipping. They were homosexuals, they were doing disgusting acts. They were sacrificing children. And guess what? They do the same thing today.
They still do.
So that's how we know, that's how we
still
can
do.
identify who Amalek and Esau is.
They still do.
Yeah, I haven't heard that in years.
You know
man.
the Christian
This is
religion.
Job 30 and 5. They were
Catholic
driven
religion,
forth from
yeah,
among
it's a
men.
pagan
They cried
religion.
after them as a thief, to dwell in the cliffs of the valleys, in the caves of the earth, and in the rocks.
Okay, so that goes back to where you were living, Mount Seir. Esau's first home was Mount Petra, south of what? South of Judah.
Sure. Yeah.
Mount Petra, and that's why. Just type in Mount Petra, and you see all these. When you see these buildings, it looks exactly the same.
Yeah.
You got holes, pure holes everywhere, and
you
that's
know
why.
what
Can
too?
you go back into that bit where it
Yeah,
says?
It's a lot, brother. You know when you look at the ground and Petra is red, right?
Yeah.
Doesn't that remind you of the red carpet?
You know what?
The
I
red carpet
actually
brings
enjoy
you back to
being
that.
with you guys.
And that's where you get that
I'm
word
learning
Petra.
shit.
What does Petra mean? Rock.
Rock.
Yeah, right. Yep.
What's is it stone? Rock
Yeah.
or stone? Stone.
Yeah. Shall I read?
Yeah, that same bit with the caves of the earth.
Yeah. Job 30 verse 5. They were driven forth from among men. They cried after them as a thief.
What we
To
call
dwell in-
yourselves?
To dwell in the clefts of the valleys, in the caves of the earth, and in the rocks.
These are caves. This is what you're looking at. These are caves, man. Look at the holes. It says the caves of the valleys, of the holes in the rocks. These are just rocks with holes in. This is why Esau builds it like this, because prior to this, not to say Israel didn't have buildings, but we were more so dwelling in tents.
It's all for the spirit, man. It's a spiritual
Why you don't
thing.
want to film me?
They've carried on this. They've carried
Like
on
that?
unwittingly.
I'm
They've carried on their
Part of
ways
this.
into the 21st century. it can't be helped. It's just the way this is, like the scriptures say, what he's a man. Esau's a man of the fields, man. You know, you can look at that today.
Yeah.
Who likes going out?
I just wanted to let you know.
Camping
I love you.
and all that stuff. And it says what Jacob was a
There's
plain
no
man
hatred.
who dwell in tents, man. Jacob is just chilling at home. It's that simple, man. The scriptures just break it down simple for you. So.
There's no hatred.
Okay, I want to say something. I was reading the news yesterday, and a lot of people are in an uproar because there are certain parts of England which are not in lockdowns, and these Edomites who like to do that fox hunting shit, they're all going out in mass numbers with their horses and their dogs, and people are like, well, how are they exempt from, not social distancing and wearing face masks and stuff? And that shows Esau's spirit, because Esau's into that hunting shit, and those rich Edomites, they're able to do that, so they keep going with it.
I was going to say, it's the rich ones that are doing that
Guys,
as well.
I don't know what your background is.
If you can get that as well.
If you
on the horses,
Caribbean
I've seen servants up on horses since you were
or
mentioning that.
African,
Some in Ecclesiastes.
I'm going to show you my business partner.
While he's fine, shall I continue with Job?
One of the most
This is
intelligent.
Job 30:7. Among the bushes they braid.
So they're bred like donkeys. Yeah.
This is my business partner.
Under the nettles they were gathered together.
It's Jamaican.
They were children of fools.
Children of fools.
Children of beast
So
men.
they were
Excuse me,
children of
please. Do you know where the
fools.
camera?
This guy's mega rich.
Excuse me.
Mega
They were
rich.
children of fools,
This
and the
is my
scripture
business
says in
partner.
some in Psalms,
excuse me,
the
please.
fool has
This is my
said in
business
his
partner.
heart
I just
Thank
want
you,
that there is
thank
no
you.
God. So Esau, he's a fool.
What's the reason?
They were children of base men. They were viler than the earth.
Viler than the earth. When you
He's
look up the word
Jamaican, by the
vile,
way.
it's
This is my
abomination.
business
My man.
You're knocking the
I'm
thing.
sorry. I'm sorry.
When you go into that word vile,
buy land,
what happened when the
I buy
Romans came into
properties,
Jerusalem?
And let me tell you
It was
something.
known as the abomination of
saying
desolation.
about
Why? Because they
people
were
owning
vile.
the land in this
Something
country,
that's
yeah?
vile is abominable. So when the
the
Romans came
most
into
difficult
Jerusalem,
thing to
they were
buy
known
land
as
in this
abominable.
country.
So that even gives it away who the
And it's not the
abominable
whites.
ones are.
It's the English.
Finish
Right.
on it.
You try to
Ecclesiastes
buy land in this country.
Chapter 10,
Tell me.
verse 6. Folly is set in great dignity,
I'm just saying
and the
to you
rich
guys.
sit in low place. Right. So as we read in Revelation 2, that the Lord knows that we're rich, and rich through what? The Spirit, man. We're rich through the Scriptures, man. And the kingdom to come, right?
If the Indian boys.
It says folly is set in great
get
dignity,
deals.
right? So what does that mean, man? Who's bringing about the folly on the earth,
And
man?
he allowed me to do
It's the
business.
wicked. They're set up
very
on high,
great.
but they're doing all the mad stuff on the earth.
Very great.
They're set up as kings.
So there
but
you
yet
go,
they're
guys.
destroying the place.
White
man.
boy.
It says, I have seen, verse
But it
7, I have
looks
seen
like
servants
most of my people
upon
are black
horses and princes walking as servants
my
upon the
friends.
earth. Yeah? So that's
And I
putting
respect it. I love
us in
it.
the low place, man. Because the servants are the Edomites, man. They're meant to serve us.
And when you get into
Who's
like
the Edomite?
when you go into that word servants,
Who's
it goes
the
into
Edomite?
peasants.
Yeah.
Because them
What-
Germans,
what
what
do you
were
think
the
is a
Rothschilds
Edomite?
called before they were called Rothschilds? They were called the Bauer, which is German for peasant. And that's why you got the Queen Kundas of House of Coburg.
Russia's a Bauer?
They're not really Germans anyway, because when you go into German, it goes into Ashkenaz, and the Ashkenaz were actually
People of Japheth.
yeah. So even that's a whole other topic in
Sir,
itself.
Edomite.
But the servants,
Who you call
but the
Edomite?
servants were Edomites. But them
Or-
servants
or
are upon
certain
what?
white people.
Horses.
Or everyone.
Why? Because they're back in rulership. That's why they're on horses. Because horses represent a position of power. And that's why when the Rothschilds came into power, what did they do? They domesticated the zebra. If you actually type in Rothschilds, they got zebra, which a zebra is just a horse but in different colour.
Yeah.
And they've domesticated it and they're sitting on top of it.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Listen, man, you go into
Never
Battersea Park, man. and they got a zoo in
Rothschilds
there.
are based
And in
in
that zoo,
England,
you've got animals named after the Rothschilds. Man.
The Rothschilds
You've got
are
birds
based in
there
England.
And certain other animals.
I agree with you on
Well,
that's-
this one.
so like
They're
it's
based in
like-
England. They're
It's like
based
that's a
in
spit
here.
because there's me getting here today took me a while, and I was going past in Crystal Palace, and there's a road called Rothschild Road or something like that.
That's it, man.
So Rothschilds, it says that in Psalms 49, and they
Guys.
named their lands after their own names.
Guys, let me tell you something, yeah? Whoever buys
Psalms
on the
49
street,
and 11.
every single
right
house
there.
The inward
can
thought
change
is
the
that their
name of the
houses
street.
shall continue forever, and their dwelling places to all generations. They call the lands after their own names.
Hey, read the scripture. Resist the devil and shall flee.
Yeah. So the inward thought. What's that inward thought? When you go into thought, it goes into device. When you go into device, it goes into Hebrew. Mashama. So their inward thought, their wicked imagination is that this place is going to continue forever. Because Esau, he wants everybody chipped. He wants a human global database. That's what Esau wants.
And you've got Edomites
Sorry,
out there
we're filming.
trying to find ways to
Sorry, I
put their
didn't mean to-
consciousness into machines, man. That's how proud this devil is, man. He truly believes that maybe in 1,000 years he could have his consciousness in something and take that out and put it into something else and be alive again.
This is what Esau wants. Their inward thought is that their houses shall continue forever. So this is Esau's inward thought.
Don't say this is all white people.
This is
Certain
Esau's. This is
white
what
people.
Esau wants.
Certain white people,
Look
not
at
all.
this. RFID chip. This is what they
We
want to
all
put in your
gonna
head.
have to fucking go
or in your
for this
right
shit.
arm. See, that's
I will be with you guys
that's
against
the
this.
mentality of a demon. See, that's what the Rothschilds are thinking. You know what? Let's chip all of them. Since we can't have salvation, we want their soul.
Guys.
See, that's how this guy is thinking.
I'll be with you
And for the
against this
camera,
shit.
there's no such thing as a white person, man.
That's right.
There's no
Exactly.
such thing as a white person, man. You so-called white people are derisions, man. You're derived from red, man. All right, like there's no such thing as this man's been standing there
Listen, I'm
for
pink.
however long talking
I'm
about
not white.
black and white. We're not
I'm
black,
pink.
man.
You guys
Right,
are
we're not black.
cocoa and
We're
every different
of
shades.
brown.
You know what I mean? My kids
Well, black means a lot of
are
negative things.
cocoa.
You know,
I mean, they're
void
not,
of
they're not,
light,
you know.
dirty, evil, wicked.
No,
Right?
not all
That's
of
what
us.
it means. That's what it means when you look up the dictionary and the etymology of these words. And white means what? Pure,
No,
And they've shown the
that
words
doesn't
of
mean.
angelic.
It does mean that.
It's what they put it in the fucking books and what they want us to believe. It's not true.
So yeah, man.
It's not true.
But that see again, that was another demonic tactic. What Esau done in slavery. See, you're going into slavery because you're black.
You're calling
You
Esau
don't know
every
nothing.
white
You're void of
person.
judgment. You were dumb.
Come on, man.
And that's what I
I'm
was taught.
sure
That's
you
what I
guys,
was taught in
yeah?
school.
If
Because I
you
didn't
were
know any
Caribbean,
better.
you got
Everything
some
I've
white
learned in school was about
people in you.
Europeans. I never learned anything
Sir,
about myself.
Are
in
you
school.
Caribbean of descent?
No, man, we're Israelites. That's what we've been standing here.
Well, check your
telling you
DNA.
For
You might find out
Yeah,
that,
but
that you
believe
could
in
be
you.
Irish or something.
Numbers
in
1
you.
and 18.
Okay? My missus
Not
is
listen to you, this
American,
man's nonsense.
Indian, yeah? She's Chinese, yeah? She's white. There's so many different nations in my
I'm not
missus.
entertaining that. You are what your father is. You are what your father is. If your
Her father
father's
was
a
a good
Moabite,
man.
a so-called Chinaman,
father
and he
was a
lays
good
down with a
Her grandfather
so-called
was a
Negro
Chinaman.
woman, that's
Her grandfather.
a Moabite. Get
Listen,
into
if
it.
you
No.
look on my missus, she's 42 years old, yeah, and she's beautiful, amazing woman. My friends come up and say, "This woman gave you so many kids. She's beautiful." You know why? Because she's a
This is the
mongrel.
book of Numbers, chapter 1, verse
If we
18.
all mix,
Yeah, hold
we'll be
on,
the
hold on.
strongest.
Let the Bible
That's
come
the
out.
truth.
Go on, read.
So-
No, read.
This is Numbers chapter 1 verse 18. And they assembled all the congregation together on the first day of the second month, and they declared their pedigrees after their families
Pedigree.
by the
Salaka.
house of their fathers, according to the numbers of the names from 20 years old and upwards by their polls.
Because they were doing a census, okay, a polls, okay, by the fathers, because your line is by your father,
Your light skin,
not by
you
your mother. It doesn't
definitely
matter who your
have
mother
white people
is.
in your-
It's
in
by the
your-
seed of your father.
History.
And you notice how it said by the house of their fathers. That's why when you go into Matthew 1, it doesn't mention no woman's lineage, because it's just about the father.
And that's
And
why
you
Can I
get
just
that word
say
seed,
one
and that
thing,
seed, that word seed
one
comes from
thing.
sperma.
You know,
so
if
you
you
put
buy
the sperm
all the
in your
properties
woman, and that's where you
on
get
one
the
street,
seed.
you can change
And you know
it
too,
into
just
your
to say
name.
one thing, like when a woman gets married to a man, she takes on his last name. You know?
My missus didn't do that.
So
even
if
going back
most
into the
likely.
ancient world, man,
She
you had,
took
names like
her
Mac,
father's name
Yeah.
and her
meaning
mother's
son
name.
of, man.
Son of,
Because
man.
people
Only my
understood.
kids have
They would
my
ask
surname.
you, you know, in the ancient world, they would say, you know,
Because
who's
she
your
wanted to
father?
keep her
And you would say,
parents' heritage.
you know, you say your name, son of whoever, son of whoever.
My
Because
first
they
wife,
understood back
Jamaican
then that it was through the line of the
woman,
fathers. as
she
it
took
still
my
is now.
first.
And a lot of them, I don't want to say this, a lot, you know what, this Polish thing, because I know a lot of Polish, I grew up around a lot of Polish who were actually Jakes. But then again, you have Polish that are Edomites, that are hardcore racists.
That's right.
So, you know, this ain't no respect or persons thing. Because the
100%.
Polish and the Edomites in Poland, a lot of them are so-called them false Jews. A lot of them hid in Poland as well.
Listen.
Not
There's
just
Polish
Germany, they're in
people
Poland
that
as well.
hate everybody.
You know, there's a
They,
lot of them
they
false
think
Jews
they're
in
just
Poland.
white and Polish, and they hate everybody.
if you got anything.
And I hate those people
Genesis 25.
because you can't even talk to them. They're so racist. They are. I know, but that's just ignorance.
Back up, please.
That's
Please.
ignorant.
Keep
Sorry.
telling you, back up, please.
So,
Alright, this is Genesis
that's just
25.
ignorance, guys.
And these are the generations of Isaac and
Why are you
Abraham's
so horrible
son.
to me?
Abraham
man?
begat Isaac.
Can't be that fucking
And
horrible.
Isaac was 40 years old when he took Rebekah to
Getting
wife.
I
violent.
bet you if you
The daughter
speak to
of
me,
Bethuel, the
if
Syrian.
we were in a one cell,
Padan-Aram,
I will change your mind.
the sister to Laban the Syrian. And Isaac entreated Yahweh for his wife because she was barren. And Yahweh was entreated of him. And Rebekah his
And
wife
even the
conceived.
racist one, you can turn his mind.
And the children struggled together within her. And she said, if it be so, why am I thus?
So Salakia, they were struggling together, so they were fighting in the room. This was what Jacob and Esau fighting in the room, martial arts, you know, twisting their head, you know, back knee, suplex,
UFC, man.
all that in the room. So we've always been enemies. This ain't nothing new.
Yep.
We've never got along with you. You've always been a devil from when you were in the room.
Guys, listen to this.
And
Yeah?
she went to inquire of
wait,
Yahweh.
just wait.
And Yahweh said unto her, two
National
nations
Front
are in thy
leader.
room,
National
and two
Front
manner
leader,
of
yeah?
people shall be separated from thy bowels. And the one people shall be stronger than the other, and the elder shall serve the younger.
Salakia, I just want to clear that up. Who
National
went to inquire?
Front
It wasn't-
leader
it wasn't
of
Yahweh.
Germany, yeah?
It was a prophet.
Racist cunt,
It was
yeah,
a
with the
prophet, they went to
swastikas all over
inquire
his
of.
body, yeah?
And it says two nations
Had
shall
to
be
run
fighting
from
in their
Germany.
room.
Had to run
Who
from
were them
Germany.
two nations that
Run
were
to
fighting in the
Africa.
room? Who were them
Met
two
an
nations?
African woman,
Esau
fell
and
in love
Jacob,
with
the
her,
so-called Negro and his Israelites.
and he was the leader of the National Front in Germany.
And when her days to be delivered were
Swastikas all
fulfilled,
over.
behold, there were
his body.
twins in her womb. And the first came out
Every
red
man
all
can be
over,
changed.
like an hairy garment.
Every man
and
can
hairy.
be educated.
And they called his name Esau.
Every man can be educated,
Okay.
guys. Every man can be
And they
educated.
called his name Esau. What does Esau mean?
Joshua.
What the
wasted
fuck
away.
Esau means?
Like this red thing you see
Come on,
here,
no,
this
you
red
be,
light,
you be
that's how they
preaching this
were.
shit, yeah?
Red up.
What Esau means?
Wasted away is he. That's what it means.
You don't even need to answer to it.
Entertained,
What does it mean? Waste or...
Forget this guy.
And they called his
Why
name
are you being
Esau.
horrible to me?
And
Just
after
tell
that
me.
came out his
I'm
brother.
learning.
And his hand took
I'm
hold
not
on
disrespecting
Esau's
all of
heel.
you.
And they called his
I
name
don't
Jacob.
disrespect.
And
But if
Isaac
you're
was
preaching
3
something, you should
years
explain.
old when she bare him.
Sorry.
So he took forth his hill, and that's an indication of Esau was going to rule first because he came out first, and second of all, Jacob was going to rule next. Because what? Jacob had his hand on his hill. It tells you that somewhere in their pocket from.
Yeah, if you got that ammo one, please stop for that.
If any of you can find that, Jacob
What
is
Esau
the
means?
beginning of, and
What
Esau's
Esau
the
means?
end of.
You guys preaching, then Esau is the white folk, yeah? But what exactly does it mean? Please tell me.
I'll keep reading until you find it, yeah?
Please, don't be ignorant. Tell me what Esau means.
Oh, bring it up.
Bring it up.
Guys,
Right, so this is a second
Come on,
Esdras
guys.
in the Apocrypha, chapter 6, verse 7. I'll start from. It says, Then answered I and said, What shall be the parting asunder of the times? Or when shall the end of the first and the beginning of it that followeth?
The end of the first and the beginning of it that followeth. So the end of the first
you're recording all.
is what? Our kingdom being next, and the beginning of
You're
it that
recording
followeth.
voice as well.
Which is what? Yahweh's kingdom, which is
my voice,
Jacob's
innit?
kingdom in itself.
And he said unto me, From Abraham unto Isaac, when Jacob and Esau were born of him, Jacob's hand held first the heel of Esau.
Please tell me, what's the Esau?
For Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning
Read
of
that
it
again.
that followeth.
Read that
For
again.
Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob
Read
is
that
the
again.
beginning of it that
I
followeth.
know, I know,
Read that loud.
I got you.
For
I got you, I
Esau
got you.
is the end of the world,
I got you, I got
and
you.
Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth.
All right,
Okay,
3
fine.
times now you must have
But
heard.
why
See
you
how that
call the
correlates
white
with that
people
same
the
scripture. Esau is the end of the
Those
world,
days,
and
when
Jacob
they were writing
is
this
the beginning
book,
of it
they were
that
black
followeth.
people.
So we're
They were
going to rule
dark-skinned
next, and you're
people.
going into slavery, and there's nothing you can do to change
But
that.
listen, when they
Thus
wrote
saith the Holy
this, when they
Bible.
wrote this, they were dark-skinned people.
That's it.
They wasn't talking about white people.
Right.
They were talking about certain kind of
And
people.
after that came out his brother, and his hand took hold on Esau's heel, and his name was called Jacob. And Isaac was 80 years old when she bare him. And the boys grew, and Esau was a cunning hunter, a man of the field. And Jacob was a plain man dwelling in tents. And Isaac loved Esau because he did eat of his venison, but Rebekah loved Jacob.
Oh, yeah, so Esau, he was a good cook, you know.
he white?
Isaac loved these food.
Was he white?
I'm not even going to entertain that.
No,
Isaac
that
loved these food. I already
days,
told you the
was he white?
description that he
Or was
came
he
out
dark
with.
skinned man?
Isaac loved these food.
No,
But guess what?
You
That
calling
was all
Esau
set up.
white people.
That was all
Was
set
he
up in the
dark
spirit.
skinned man or was he white man?
Ecclesiasticus 10
Please
and 8.
tell me.
Because of unrighteous dealings, injuries, and riches got by deceit, the kingdom is translated
My
from
father-
one people to another.
Red.
Wait, that's a beautiful scripture. So the kingdom's going to be
The
translated.
holy book
Why?
to me,
Because of deceit.
since I remember
And really, set
everything.
up like that in the spirit anyway.
I've been listening to Bible from my father
You know, so with
since
that,
I was a child.
giving all of the praise to the Most High and the Son,
Yahweh,
Ba'ashem,
Yahweh,
Yahushua,
Ba'ashem,
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 Abad, Babal.
Abad, Babal.